Great to have you. And it's a fascinating deal. No cash being exchanged, but GMC's $4 billion in value, an equity stake, a board seat, regulatory credits for emissions. They get a boost in their brand perception, of course. They also get paid to manufacture the truck, paid for supply of batteries. What do you get?
Yeah, it's actually a great, really good deal for both parties. Probably the most important thing about this is that, one, we're able to get an OEM with some of the best supply chain in the world that can instantly build our Nikola Badger with a factory that already exists. The hard part for that is it takes billions to build a factory, and it takes decades to learn the supply chains the right way. The second thing that they bring to us really is the ability to leverage their batteries and their other parts bin. So that would be like their parts supply. The batteries alone are going to save Nikola over $4 billion over the life of this agreement with us. So in even just from the batteries alone, we've already doubled our what we exchanged in-kind services. We gave up about $2 billion worth of stock. We gained over $4 billion in savings on the batteries alone. Their battery costs are 30% less than ours. So it's a huge advantage there, along with the access of everything else. I mean, imagine just having one of the best teams in the world to manufacture your truck for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, just couldn't wish for anything better.
So Trevor, obviously a lot of comparisons are drawn between your company and Tesla, obviously because of the name and obviously because you're both in the electric vehicle industry. But your approach here to manufacturing is obviously a lot different than the approach Tesla took. And of course, you also have, I guess, these sort of ancillary businesses with regards to hydrogen and else. How does the partnership specifically with regard to GM, is that going to allow you, I guess, to sidestep maybe some of the challenges and pitfalls that Tesla went through in trying to sort of ramp up its own production of its various vehicles?
Yeah, right or wrong, we just took a totally different approach than Tesla did. I mean, Tesla had access to an immense amount of capital. They've spent tens of billions of dollars, so they could kind of do things on their own. We knew going into this when we started that there was no way to raise that kind of capital immediately. It was really important for us to be able to build these relationships. So people like Iveco in Europe for our big semi trucks, we really focus on the big semi trucks. That's where our company came from. And we've got over 10 billion in pre-orders for those trucks that are waiting to be built. Margins are huge, they're really good. But the problem was we knew we couldn't do it alone. So we partnered with Iveco to do it. And then here for the Badger, we did the same thing with GM. And what this allows us to do is save billions on the factory. It allows us to get to market fast, enter a supply chain that already exists. And for the Badger, it allows us to be competitive against the biggest, everybody in the world. We're going to have a truck out in a year and a half in production. That's incredible.
What value does Nikola add now? GM's basically doing all the manufacturing, as you say, of the Badger. You're using their engineering, their components. What is it that you bring to the table, Trevor?
Yeah, so, I mean, here's the important thing to know. We've already built the Badger from the ground up ourselves. So everything in it is owned by Nikola. What we decided to do is leverage common parts with GM. I'll tell you, for those who don't know, General Motors has the best purchasing power pretty much in the world. Their parts are cheaper than, when I say cheaper, they mean they pay less for their parts than anyone else in the world, pretty much with the exception of maybe Volkswagen. So if you think about that, being able to leverage all their parts, we can commonize things. So like a window regulator or an inverter. I mean, why spend $2,000 on an inverter if you can pay $400 for it or $500 for it or whatever it is? That's the value you get with GM. It doesn't mean that we're not doing anything. It means we're commonizing parts, and OEMs do this all the time. But to tell you what we do the software, we do the infotainment, we do the controls, we do the over-the-air updating, we do the phone controls, we do the design, we do the interior, the cab, the exterior, and GM handles the essentially the skateboard on the bottom, commonizing our parts with theirs. So ultimately, I mean, I would say, a lot of, there are people saying that, but ultimately it's not really that accurate. We actually provide a tremendous amount of this truck, most of it actually.
So with regards to actual sales or potential sales down the road once this is out there, what types of volumes are you hoping to sort of reach in the short term, say within the first year or so of production?
Yeah, I think we have to be careful not to run too fast, right? We've seen this with, and I use Tesla kind of as a good understanding because they've been through a lot of problems and they've learned from them. When the Model Y came out, there was a tremendous amount of problems with paint and having issues coming off the factory line. We can go build as many trucks as we want. The problem is, can you service them? Can you warranty them? Can you make your customers happy? Mm-hmm. We're not looking to build 500,000 trucks a year. We just don't want to do that. We want to focus on a small quantity that is very profitable and make it an item that just everyone wants, and there might not be enough supply of it, right? We're not trying to build 500,000 a year.
How about sales and servicing? Is that going to be owned by Nikola, or is that something driven by GM?
Yeah, directly through Nikola. That's one of the things we learned. When we sat down with GM, we said, look, the world's changing, and we don't think the existing way of doing things is the right way. It's probably a blend. So Tesla does everything themselves. We don't do everything. We just do some of it. And so we think that direct to consumer for the sales definitely is important for us. And we have that right. We're the ones in charge of that. Also warranty.
Yeah.
We're probably going to partner with someone on warranty. That may be GM, it may be someone else, but we're going to partner with someone on warranty because we want a nationwide infrastructure immediately.
What about states, though, like Texas, where you can't do direct to consumer in that way, but that's a big truck market?
It is, but there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to handle that. They've already figured that out with, Tesla's figured a lot of those out. Some of them are distributed outside, brought in. There's a lot of ways. We believe that Texas and these other states are going to ultimately allow you to, if you're doing service with them, we believe they're going to allow you to work with them. So it's just a little bit of legislation, and in the next year and a half, we'll have those pretty much all figured out.
So, Trevor, I mean, your company came to the attention of a lot of folks when you did that reverse merger back in June. With an equity stake here by GM, I guess the question becomes, what's sort of the long-term look for your company? Are you going to sort of remain your own standalone company with your own standalone ticker? There are a lot of people are speculating now that a partnership with GM could lead to maybe further integration with GM. What are you looking to?
Well, I can tell you this, Nikola is probably one of the most exciting brands in the world. The main reason why is that we're solving the pollution in the second largest industry in the world. And that's a big deal for us here at Nikola. That brings a lot of attraction to brands that are interested, especially like GM, where they were trying to unlock shareholder value and they had a little bit of a hard time figuring out how to necessarily do it all on their own. And there's something special about people that realize the need for others. And Mary's really genius. She said, look, Trevor, you guys bring a tremendous amount of innovation, excitement, fun, technology, and we can help you realize that, but we're not you. So if we can let you be you and us be us, we can make this work. And so there may be something more with them down the road, no doubt. And if we ever decided to do anything, we would talk to them first. Mm-hmm. But I mean, here's the thing. I think that Nikola is like, everyone talks, man, I wish I could have gotten into Tesla when they were $50 a share. That was before they went to their 5-to-1 split. So if you think about that, that's kind of where Nikola is. It's a chance for everyone to see, okay, in the next year, this is when all of our production is beginning, billions of dollars in truck sales. My answer is if people want to wait till there's zero risk, okay, that's fine. Come in high. Wait till it's $2,000 a share or whatever. If you want to get in early, there's going to be volatility and it's going to go up and down. But the excitement part is you get to be part of the story from the beginning to the end. Yeah. And Nikola is that story, and GM is just an enormous asset to our growth.